Imagine standing at the edge of an infinite ocean, its waves whispering secrets in a language older than time. Each ripple carries the potential to become a tidal wave, yet most never do, not because the water lacks power, but because the wind never learned how to ask. This is the paradox of quantum manifestation, an omnipresent force, as natural as breathing, yet as elusive as a dream upon waking. We live in a universe where thought and matter are not separate, but intertwined like the double helix of existence itself. Quantum physics has whispered this truth for decades, that at the fundamental level, particles respond to observation, that reality is not fixed but fluid, a canvas waiting for the brush of consciousness. And yet, despite this knowledge, most people move through life as though they are passive spectators, not realizing they hold the paintbrush. Why? The answer is both disarmingly simple and infinitely profound. Manifestation is not a secret technique locked away in ancient texts or reserved for the enlightened few. It is the birthright of every sentient being, woven into the fabric of perception itself. The reason it remains untouched by so many is not because it is difficult, but because it is too simple, like a child searching for a treasure chest while standing atop it, unaware that the key was in their pocket all along. Humanity has a curious habit of mistaking profundity for complexity. We assume that if something is powerful, it must also be intricate, that wisdom is hidden behind layers of ritual, discipline, or esoteric knowledge. This illusion keeps us seeking outside ourselves, chasing formulas, steps, and systems when the mechanism of creation requires none of these. Quantum manifestation operates on the principle of resonance. What you are, you attract. What you believe, you become. There is no intermediary, no cosmic bureaucracy processing requests. The universe is an echo chamber, returning to you the frequency you emit. Yet, this very simplicity becomes the stumbling block. The mind, conditioned by a world of effort and struggle, resists the idea that creation could be as effortless as a thought aligning with its match in the physical realm. We have been taught that to achieve, we must strive, that desire must be tempered by sweat, that dreams are earned through hardship. But quantum reality does not operate on the rules of Newtonian physics. In the quantum field, there is no delay between cause and effect, only the illusion of time separating the seed from the bloom. Here lies the cosmic joke, one that the universe has been playing on us since the dawn of self-awareness. You are always manifesting. Every thought, every belief, every unconscious assumption is shaping your reality in real time. The problem is not that manifestation is rare, but that most people are doing it unconsciously, like a sleepwalker molding clay without knowing their hands are moving. Fear manifests as readily as faith, doubt as powerfully as certainty. The question, then, is not how to manifest, but what you are already manifesting without realizing it. This is why so many stumble in their attempts to harness deliberate creation. They focus on techniques, visualization, affirmations, scripting, while neglecting the foundational current that determines whether those techniques bear fruit, the silent, subterranean river of belief. A man may affirm wealth 1,000 times, but if beneath those words lurks the unexamined conviction that money is scarce, the universe will faithfully reflect the deeper truth back to him. The outer world is but a mirror, and no amount of polishing the glass will change the face staring into it. So we arrive at the heart of the mystery. If quantum manifestation is so simple, why does it feel so out of reach? The barrier is not in the mechanics, but in the mind's resistance to its own power. To manifest consciously is to step into the role of creator, and that is a responsibility many shy away from. It is easier to blame circumstance, to attribute outcomes to luck or fate, than to acknowledge that we are, in every moment, co-authoring our existence. But once this truth is glimpsed, really seen, the world becomes a different place. Reality softens, like clay waiting for the sculptor's touch. The line between thought and thing blurs, and you begin to sense the invisible threads connecting intention to manifestation. It is not magic, though it may feel like it. It is physics. It is the way things have always worked, long before we had the language to name it. The journey ahead is not one of acquiring new knowledge, but of unlearning, of shedding the myths of lack, effort, and separation that keep us from wielding our innate creative power. It is about aligning with the simplicity that underpins all complexity, like finding the silent center of a spinning wheel. To understand quantum manifestation is to step into a world where the rules of ordinary perception dissolve like mist in sunlight. Here, the solid ground of Newtonian cause and effect gives way to something far more fluid, a reality where consciousness is not merely an observer but an active participant in the unfolding of events. The core themes of this phenomenon are not locked in complexity but float on the surface of simplicity, waiting to be recognized. Imagine the universe as a vast, shimmering web, each thread vibrating with potential. This is the quantum field, the invisible substrate from which all matter emerges. In this realm, particles flicker in and out of existence, not as fixed objects but as probabilities, waiting for the stroke of observation to collapse them into form. What does this mean for manifestation? It means that at the most fundamental level, reality is responsive. It listens. The implications are staggering. If the act of observation influences the behavior of particles, then our attention is not passive, it is creative. Every thought, every focused intention sends ripples through this field, shaping the unseen into the seen. The challenge is not in accessing this power, it is already at work, but in recognizing that most of us are broadcasting unconsciously, like radios left playing on static. The implications are staggering. If the act of observation influences the behavior of particles, then our attention is not passive, it is creative. Every thought, every focused intention sends ripples through this field, shaping the unseen into the seen. The challenge is not in accessing this power, it is already at work, but in recognizing that most of us are broadcasting unconsciously, like radios left playing on static. If the quantum field is the canvas, resonance is the brushstroke. Everything in existence vibrates at a particular frequency. Emotions, thoughts, objects, even desires. The principle of attraction is not a mystical force but a law of matching vibrations. Like a tuning fork humming in sympathy with another of the same pitch, reality responds to the frequency you emit. This is why effort often sabotages manifestation. When we strain, worry, or grasp, we broadcast a frequency of lack, a dissonance that the universe mirrors back. True creation arises not from force but from alignment, from becoming the very thing we wish to attract. A person who seeks love but vibrates with loneliness will find only more absence. But one who embodies love, who radiates it effortlessly, becomes a magnet for its arrival. One of the deepest barriers to manifestation is the unspoken belief that we are separate from what we desire, that fulfillment is out there, waiting to be acquired. This illusion is the grand trick of perception, the veil that makes the world seem solid and divided. But quantum physics whispers a different truth. At the subatomic level, there are no true boundaries. The observer and the observed are entangled, two expressions of the same underlying field. When you long for abundance, you're not reaching for something external. You're reaching for a version of yourself that already exists in the quantum soup of possibilities. The work, then, is not to chase but to become, to shift your inner state until the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. This is why rituals and techniques often fail. They focus on the external mechanics while ignoring the internal alignment required for the universe to say yes. Beneath every conscious intention lies a deeper current, belief. Not the kind professed in words, but the quiet, unshakable knowing that resides beneath thought. This is the true engine of manifestation. A man may affirm, "I am wealthy 1,000 times," but if his subconscious hums with the tune of scarcity, the universe will answer the louder song. Beliefs are not just thoughts, they are living energies, patterns etched into the neural pathways of the brain and the vibrational field of the body. They operate like filters, allowing in only what matches their structure. This is why two people can use the same manifestation technique with wildly different results. Their underlying beliefs are different. The key, then, is not just to think new thoughts, but to rewire the deeper currents of assumption. Time, in the quantum view, is not the linear march we perceive. Past and future are folds in the same fabric, and the only real moment is now. Manifestation does not happen in the future. It happens in the present. where the creative force of consciousness is most potent. Anxiety about tomorrow or regret over yesterday scatters this power, diluting focus into 1,000 directions. To manifest effectively is to anchor fully in the present, to feel the desire not as a future wish but as a current reality. This is the secret behind techniques like visualization. They are not about imagining a distant fantasy but about experiencing the desired state now, so vividly that the universe accepts it as truth and begins arranging circumstances to match. And so we return to the great irony. Quantum manifestation is simple, yet it eludes so many because it asks for surrender, not struggle. It requires releasing the need to control the how and trusting the intelligence of the universe to arrange the details. It demands that we stop seeking outside ourselves and turn inward, where the true levers of creation reside. The core truth is this: you are already a master manifester. Every moment of your life is proof. The only difference between what you have now and what you desire is the frequency you are holding. Shift that, and reality must follow. Reality often speaks in symbols, in stories that bypass the rational mind and whisper directly to the soul. To grasp the essence of quantum manifestation, we must step beyond theory and into the realm of myth, where truths are carried not in equations but in allegory. These narratives are not mere fictions, they are mirrors, reflecting back to us the hidden mechanics of existence. There is an ancient tale, whispered in many traditions, of a great dreamer whose thoughts become worlds. In this story, the dreamer closes their eyes and imagines a universe, a vast, swirling dance of galaxies, planets, and living beings. Each thought solidifies into matter, each desire pulses into life. But as the dreamer drifts deeper into the dream, something peculiar happens. They forget they are dreaming. The characters within the dream, the people, the animals, the civilizations, begin to believe they are separate, autonomous, bound by the rules of the dream world. They struggle, they strive, they pray to unseen gods, never realizing that they, too, are fragments of the dreamer's imagination. Every so often, one of them wakes, just for a moment, and remembers. In that instant, they understand, the dream is malleable. The laws they thought were fixed are merely agreements, and they, as extensions of the dreamer, hold the same creative power. This is the human condition. We are the dreamers who forgot, lost in the illusion of separation, unaware that the world bends to the quality of our attention. Quantum manifestation is the art of remembering, of realizing that the dream responds to the dreamer. A gardener walks into a barren field, clutching a single seed. She digs a small hole, places the seed inside, and covers it with soil. Then she does something curious. She walks away. She does not dig it up daily to check its progress. She does not scream at the sky for rain. She tends to the garden in other ways, watering, weeding, ensuring the conditions are right, but she understands that the seed's growth is not her burden. It is the earth's. Days pass. The seed, invisible beneath the soil, is splitting, reaching, transforming. The gardener cannot see this, but she does not need to. She trusts the process. Then, one morning, a fragile green shoot breaks the surface. In time, it becomes a towering tree, bearing fruit beyond what the gardener first imagined. This is the paradox of manifestation. We are called to plant the seed, to clarify our desires, to align with their energy, but then we must release our grip on the how. The universe handles the unfolding. Our doubt, our impatience, our frantic digging to see if the seed is growing, these are what stifle the process. The gardener does not make the seed grow. She simply ensures she is not the obstacle to its growth. A river flows over a stone for 1,000 years. The stone, proud and unyielding, resists. "You cannot move me," it declares. The river does not argue. It does not push harder. It simply continues, gently, persistently, until one day the stone is smooth, reshaped, unrecognizable from its former self. We often believe that creation requires force, that to manifest our desires, we must fight, strive, and conquer. But the river teaches another way. The universe operates on the principle of path of least resistance. Water does not struggle, it adapts. It flows around obstacles, not because it is weak, but because it understands something the stone does not. Resistance is an illusion. What opposes you is not stronger than you. It is simply part of the current, waiting to be navigated. In manifestation, The stone might be a limiting belief, a societal expectation, or an old wound. We can choose to fight it, to exhaust ourselves in battle, or we can take the river's path, adjusting our approach, softening our grip, until what once seemed solid dissolves in the flow of our persistence. There is a fable about a kingdom where every mirror is alive. When a person gazes into one, it does not show their face, it shows their deepest belief about themselves. A queen, radiant in her regalia, looks into the glass and sees a beggar. No matter how her subjects praise her, the reflection never changes. A beggar, meanwhile, looks into the same mirror and sees a king. The people of this kingdom spend their lives trying to alter their reflections, painting their faces, wearing masks, demanding that others describe them differently. But the mirrors never lie. Only when someone truly shifts their inner vision does the reflection follow. This is the secret of quantum manifestation. The outer world is the mirror. No amount of rearranging circumstances will change what it shows you. Only an inner shift can do that. When you alter the source, your belief, the reflection, your reality, has no choice but to follow. A musician sits alone in a vast, empty hall. He plucks a single note on his violin. A moment later, the note echoes back to him, not as a repetition, but as a harmony, richer and more complex than what he played. Intrigued, he plays another note. Again, the universe answers, weaving his simple melody into something grander. This is how creation works. You send out a thought, a desire, an intention, clear and focused, and the universe responds, not with robotic obedience, but with artistry. It takes your fragment and expands it, filling in the details you could not foresee. The problem arises when we keep changing the note, doubting the echo, or refusing to listen for the response. The musician who never pauses to hear the harmony will assume his instrument is broken. Manifestation is a dialogue, not a monologue. You speak with your intention, then you listen, with trust, with patience, for the answer. These stories are not just whimsical tales. They are maps, pointing toward the same truth. Reality is far more fluid than we've been taught. The barriers we perceive are often illusions, and the power we seek has been ours all along. The question is no longer how to manifest, but what story have you been believing? Do you see yourself as the dreamer, or the powerless figure in the dream? Are you the gardener, trusting the unseen process, or the impatient hand clawing at the soil? Do you fight the river's current, or do you flow with it? Are you staring at the mirror, demanding it change, or are you shifting the source of the reflection? The symbols are everywhere, waiting to be decoded. The grand revelations of quantum physics and the wisdom of ancient allegories would mean little if they remained abstract, floating in the realm of theory without touching the ground of daily life. But here lies the magic. These principles are not distant concepts reserved for mystics or physicists. They are alive in every choice, every thought, every moment of your existence. To integrate them is not to add something new to your life, but to remove the obstructions that have kept you from recognizing what was always there. Imagine your mind as a beam of light. Wherever you direct it, reality crystallizes around that point of focus. This is not metaphor but physics, the observer effect in action. Most people scatter this light unconsciously, their attention flickering between past regrets, future anxieties, and fragmented desires. The first practical step in manifestation is to choose your focus deliberately. This does not mean obsessing over a goal or clinging to an outcome. It means cultivating a quiet, sustained attention, like holding a single note in a song without straining. For example, if you desire abundance, focus not on the absence of money but on the feeling of already having it. Notice the wealth that exists now, the roof over your head, the food in your kitchen, the air in your lungs. This shifts your vibration from lack to gratitude, and gratitude is a magnet for more. If you seek love, embody the state of being loved now. How would you move through the world if you knew you were cherished? How would you speak, dress, act? Live as that version of yourself, and the outer world will rearrange to reflect it. The key is to focus without desperation. A lighthouse does not beg ships to come. It simply shines, and the ships adjust their course. There is a paradox at the heart of manifestation. The more you cling to a desire, the more it eludes you. This is because attachment broadcasts a frequency of need, and the universe responds to that vibration by reflecting back more need. The solution is not to abandon desire, but to release the grip on its outcome, to want without demanding, to prefer without requiring. The as-if practice. Spend time each day acting as if your desire is already fulfilled. Not as a frantic performance, but as a gentle alignment. If you were already living your dream life, how would you spend a Tuesday afternoon? Do that now, in whatever small way you can. Though it is done meditation. When you notice yourself straining, mentally surrender the desire. Say, "It is already done," and release it to the universe. This is not passive resignation but active trust, like dropping a letter into a mailbox and walking away, knowing it will arrive. No technique will work if your subconscious holds a counter-belief. These are the invisible scripts running in the background. Money is hard to get. Love always ends in pain. I'm not worthy. They operate like filters, distorting your manifestations before they can take form. To uncover and rewrite these beliefs, observe your default thoughts. What narratives repeat in your mind when you're not trying to think positively? These are clues to your subconscious programming. Question their origin. Most limiting beliefs are inherited from parents, society, past experiences. Ask, is this actually true, or is it just a story I've accepted? Install new beliefs through repetition and emotion. Affirmations alone are weak. Pair them with feeling. Vividly imagine the new belief as true until it evokes genuine emotion. The subconscious responds to felt experience, not empty words. Synchronicity as guidance. The universe's whispered directions. When you align with a desire, the universe begins sending signals. Chance encounters, repeating numbers, sudden inspirations. These are not coincidences but confirmations that you're on the right frequency. The practical step here is to notice and follow. Keep a synchronicity journal. When something strikes you as oddly meaningful, record it. Patterns will emerge. Act on small intuitive nudges. If you feel drawn to call someone, go to a place, or try something new, do it. These are often the universe's way of arranging your path. Visualization is a popular tool, but it fails when it's merely mental. True manifestation happens when the desired state is embodied, when you think, feel, and move as if it's already true. Movement matters. Your body carries beliefs in its posture and energy. If you want confidence, stand like a confident person. If you want joy, move with lightness. The body informs the mind as much as the reverse. Speak it. Language shapes reality. Use present tense statements, I am instead of I want. Even if it feels like a stretch at first, the subconscious begins to accept it as truth. The daily reset, returning to alignment. Manifestation isn't a one-time act but a constant realignment, like a sailor adjusting the sails to the wind. Each day, or moment, offers a chance to return to focus. Morning alignment. Start the day by feeling the essence of your desire. Spend 5 minutes in the emotional state of already having it. Evening release. Before sleep, let go of the day's struggles. The subconscious is most receptive at this time. Give it something positive to work with. These practices are not tasks to add to your to-do list but lenses through which to view your entire life. The goal is not to get something but to recognize that you are already the creator of your experience. When this clicks, manifestation stops being a technique and becomes a way of being. We have journeyed through the quantum landscape, where thoughts shape reality as effortlessly as sunlight warms the earth. We have wandered through allegories that revealed our innate creative power and explored practical ways to align with this truth. Now we arrive at the threshold, the moment where understanding must either dissolve into mere philosophy or ignite into lived experience. This is not an ending, but a beginning. The most profound truth about quantum manifestation is also the most humbling. You have always been doing it. Every circumstance of your life, the joys, the challenges, the seemingly random encounters, has been a perfect reflection of your inner world. The universe has never failed to respond to you. It has only ever responded exactly to what you have broadcast, consciously or unconsciously. This realization carries both power and responsibility. It means there is no external force to blame for your circumstances, but also no external force needed to change them. You are not waiting for permission to create your reality. You already have it. The secret was never hidden. It was simply obscured by layers of conditioned thinking, like a diamond buried under centuries of dust. Knowing about manifestation is not enough. You must live as someone who understands it. This is the difference between reading a map and embarking on the journey. Here is your transformational call. 1. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, now. Every spiritual tradition and psychological study agrees. Emotion is the language of creation. Don't just visualize your desires, feel them as present realities. If you want love, feel loved now. If you want abundance, feel abundant now. The universe responds to vibrational honesty, not wishful thinking. 2. Release the need to control the how. You are the architect of your reality, but not the construction crew. Specify your desire, then surrender the details. The universe's methods are infinitely more creative than your limited imagination. 3. Treat every moment as a manifestation. Your power isn't reserved for special rituals or vision boards. It operates in every thought, every word, every subtle expectation. Begin noticing. What am I assuming about my future based on my past? What subtle vibrations am I emitting in casual conversations? Where am I still acting from lack rather than abundance? This is not dogma. It is a laboratory of consciousness. Test it. For 1 week, assume the feeling of already having something you desire. Notice what shifts. Practice radical gratitude for what's already here. Watch how it multiplies. When challenges arise, ask, what frequency might have attracted this? How can I shift? When you change your inner world, you don't just alter your personal reality. You send out ripples that affect the collective. Every limiting belief you dissolve, every fearful thought you release, every moment you choose love over fear contributes to a higher frequency for all. This is why your awakening matters far beyond yourself. It really is this simple. The reason quantum manifestation seems elusive is not because it's complicated, but because its simplicity defies our conditioning. We expect profound truths to be difficult, but the deepest laws of existence are elegant in their ease. What you focus on expands. What you feel, you attract. What you believe, you become. The only question left is, will you live as if this is true? The universe is waiting for your answer, not in words, but in the quality of your next thought, the energy of your next action, the quiet knowing of your next breath. You are the dreamer, the garden, the river, the mirror. Now, awaken.